Hello everyone, Daiki from the Attic here. Some of my friends watched Kimi no Na wa, known as Your Name in the West, very recently, and to some of them I'm pretty sure that was their first exposure to a work directed by Makoto Shinkai. They all seemed to enjoy the movie greatly, one way or the other, and that got me in the mood to go back and revisit some of his older works, like 2013's Garden of Woods, and the one I'll be covering more deeply in this video, 2007's 5 centimeters per second. On an important note, this video contains major spoilers to the events of the movie, so if you have not watched it, I highly recommend you to come back once you've seen it. No, really, go back. I'm going to spoil the whole thing. You've been warned. Shinkai's works are normally very grounded in reality, with some exceptions, and for the lack of better words, they feel really real. In my eyes, there are two main reasons for this. The first one are the visuals. Shinkai's movies are always visually impressive. The animation is smooth, the colors are vibrant, they are also dark and gloomy when they need to be, and that helps a lot to create an immersive and down-to-earth environment. The second one, and the one I'll be talking about, being how relatable and realistic the events of his stories are. 5 centimeters per second is a movie that's actually divided in 3 parts. The first one is the story of the two friends who want to meet each other. The second, the friends move further apart and now one high school girl ends up having a crush on the guy. And the third and final one is after they become adults. So what does Shinkai do to make the stories feel real? In part 1, we meet our protagonists Akari and Takaki. They are really close friends, but due to life events they have no control over, Akari has to move out, and obviously they aren't happy about this. They start sharing correspondence once she arrives in her new home, but eventually Takaki himself has to move, separating the two even more. So they decide to meet each other one time before that happens. And the longest train ride ever ensues. Like really long. After huge amounts of delays, Takaki finally arrives. And there she is. She waited all that time. A sign of hope. They talk a bit, eat, and go out of the station. They actually end up kissing each other and sleep together on a nearby cottage. At this point in the movie, you will probably be really happy for them, and maybe thinking, hooray, they are going to end up together! They don't. In the morning, he goes back to the train station and he leaves frustrated for not being able to be with her in the future. Just like real life. And so part 2 begins, and Takaki is now leaving to his new life and new home. We are introduced to a new girl, Sumida, which ends up having a crush on our main boy here. I'll skip a little bit to the end of this part. There's more stuff in terms of meaning and symbolism about what you want to do in the future, but I'm going to keep focusing in our love story. In the end, Sumida does not confess her feelings, because she realized that Takaki has something else in his mind, and even if she confessed and they ended up together, she knew it wouldn't last forever. Just like real life. She confronts reality, cries herself to sleep, and with no other choice, she has to move on. And that's a recurrent theme of the movie. There's a big time skip. They are now adults. Takaki actually had the girlfriend for 3 years, but they broke up because even though the girl seemed to really love him, he didn't. His mind is still in Akari. He's depressed over the fact he lost the love of his life. He even ends up quitting his job because of it. We also learned that Akari is in a relationship. She moved on. Confirming that all women's are tots. I'm kidding. But she does move on, when he was unable to. In a twist of fate, the two end up crossing each other in the same place where the movie began. He notices it. The train passes and he looks back, waiting. And here's where you think everything is going to end happily ever after. But it doesn't. She doesn't look back. It's the final nail in the coffin. She moved on completely. Just like... okay, I'll stop. But you get the idea. Makoto Shinkai doesn't write the idealistic romantic story. He doesn't write in black and white. He knows life isn't that simple. In an ideal world, every love story would end happily ever after. But that's just not possible. And I'm not saying happy endings don't exist in real life. They do. In fact, Shinkai himself has directed movies with happy endings many times before. But not everyone gets that ending, and he knows this. His directing style helps complement this. The locations, the visuals of Takiki's apartment covered in trash, the dragging out of the scenes to make them feel as if we're watching it in real time, that we're watching it alongside Takaki and feeling the same stress and anxiety, and even the simplistic design of the characters, all that together creates a story that feels real. So real, in fact, it reminds me of some friends. Even me. I, for one, up to this point haven't had an happy ending in my romantic life, although I'm still really young, so I have a lot of time ahead of me, so I'm not really worried. And some of my friends didn't too, but others are in relationships right now, and I'm happy for them. And that's how life is. And Makoto Shinkai writes about life. And that's why his stories feel real. Hey, it's me again. Some of you may be asking, wasn't this kinda obvious? And to you I say, well, yeah, I don't think Shinkai hides this from anyone in his works, and you can see. However, I wanted to do a video on it. It's fun to write and discuss this, and I hope you had as much fun as I had making this video. And if you did, do all that liking and subscribing stuff, cause it helps a lot. In the meantime, this was Daiki talking to you from the attic.